And they never told me because my family was, ashamed and they didn't really know what to say. When I was 18, my mom put everything we owned into public storage. But because we were moving around so frequently, they lost track of us and eventually sold to strangers everything that we owned, which included all of my baby photos. So when all that was gone, I felt like Stephanie is 18 years old and I don't exist. A couple of years later, I was over at a friend's house and I found on their shelf a book that I had lent them, and stuck within the pages were just a few pictures of me as a kid. I found this one, which, as far as I know, is the only picture of me in the Philippines. I literally, at the age of 20, did not remember what I looked like when I was a kid anymore. And then I was able to see that. This one, it's me posing in front of somebody's Mercedes-Benz. My dad said, go stand next to that car. Oh my God, it's a Mercedes-Benz. There are millionaires everywhere. Put your face right next to the hood ornament. I am in America because disco died. It took until 1989 for disco to finally die in the Philippines. My dad's job was installing and maintaining the sound systems for all of the discos in Manila. He said, I can't support us. We're gonna try to move and I'm gonna find work. I started talking to my mom and I said, oh wow, this is really exciting, my 18th birthday, I'm gonna be, a legal adult. I never did get around to getting a driver's license. I should do that. I want to apply for a passport and, go on a trip maybe, and I want to register to vote. And, with a lot of hemming and hawing and, dodging the question, she eventually just told me that I can't do that we're not here legally. We don't have documentation. I can't get any of these things. I just thought, okay, I can go down to City Hall, take a test, and this test will make you American instantly. And you'll do the Pledge of Allegiance, and you'll get a tiny American flag. I met with an immigration attorney, and then I found out that there is, no path to citizenship for people who are here illegally. I can't take the test. I'm just sort of here. Here we are where I live in beautiful Highland Park, and to get from here to UCLA by bus and train, it takes between an hour and a half to usually more like 2 hours. I haven't been in school for the past quarter. Since I'm not eligible for financial aid, it's really hit and miss in terms of when I can and can't be in school. And at one point, it took me about 3 months to save up. I was working 3 jobs. Sometimes it'll take me a year. There's, the first years, the second years, the third years, and the fourth years, and then there's me. It's like being a tourist, I'm pretending to have the college experience. Being undocumented feels like you're a kid forever, because right now I can't get any form of real government ID that would prove my age. There are all of these constant reminders. Every store and bank and transaction with an ID, and every place of work, every travel poster, everything is a little post-it that says, not yours. Right now we're on the UCLA campus, and I'm walking down to where a mock graduation event is being held. I'm going to be giving a short speech and just discussing how important it is that the DREAM Act or something similar would pass. And I lived my entire life up until that point thinking that I was just, a regular American student. When I turned 18, I thought, wow, this is the exciting birthday. You're a legal adult, all of a sudden you have this power in your hand. And I mentioned this to my mom, and she said, well, there's a big problem with that. And they never told me, because my family was, ashamed and they didn't really know what to say. This is not a decision I made. You're holding children hostage, and nobody remembers the children. Whenever they see the sign, the famous sign that you see around San Diego of, the mother and the father, and they're pulling the little girl along, Nobody looks at that little girl and thinks, what happens to her when she grows up?